Ladies and gentlemen, I have one more speaker that we'd like to introduce. He's come all the way from the great state of Massachusetts. One more speaker, obviously, before Dr. Paul. He's come all the way from the great state of Massachusetts. He's known Dr. Ron Paul for 25 years. He's a member of the Republican Liberty Caucus, Senator Robert Hedlund from Massachusetts.
Good evening. Hey, Florida, fair and unbalanced. Who won the debate tonight?
Ron Paul!
Anybody here inspired by Dr. Ron Paul? Anybody here inspired by Dr. Ron Paul to maybe seek elective office and make a change and make a difference? When I was 21 years old, I had the opportunity to hear Dr. Ron Paul speak. His first stint in Congress, I might add. A speech he gave on the South Shore of Boston, Massachusetts, on sound money. Now, where's that sword? We can wave that thing around again. But he was someone who inspired me to later in my 20s seek elective office. And believe it or not, in Massachusetts, a libertarian Republican was able to get elected with a little hard work, a little common sense, and taking some of the things he learned from Ron Paul out to the campaign trail. So I hope that you guys take that to heart, not only to work towards a Ron Paul victory here in Florida on the 29th, but maybe to create a movement. I know that he has inspired people around. I don't know if you've ever been to a carnival. Who here has been to a carnival? And you see the sideshow? Yes, I am a Republican in Massachusetts, believe it or not. Now, I'm not going to get up here and say anything bad about Mitt Romney, because I actually kind of like Mitt Romney, okay? I got to tell you, I worked with 4 Republican governors up in Mass. He was the best. But let me tell you something has happened as I've watched this presidential campaign unfold. I've watched Fox News, and I was, I guess, a little naive. I'm still young and naive. And I said, you know what? CNN's biased, the Boston Globe's biased, New York Times is biased, but maybe I can go to Fox News and get a little bit of truth. And as this campaign has unfolded, I've watched Sean Hannity snicker at Ron Paul. I've watched them actually tell you on air how their telepoll after the debates doesn't work, how you guys are stacking the deck when in fact only 1 vote per phone works. I've seen them conduct polls where they go right through the list. By the way, Nevada, right down through the list. Press 1 for Romney, 2 for McCain, 3 for Giuliani. Get all the way down the list. 5 for other, Ron Paul not included. Gee, they put a poll out the next day, 2% for Ron Paul. That's because he wasn't even in their poll. What happens? He comes in second in Nevada. Has anyone seen the YouTube footage of the Fox News producer instructing his cameramen not to show Ron Paul sign holders? I think his quote was, show footage of them eating this crap, but don't show them holding Ron Paul signs. So as this went on, I got to the point where I said, I can't take this anymore. This is such baloney. Sean Hannity is a disgrace. Sean Hannity is not a conservative. Sean Hannity is an entertainer. And I felt this past week that it was finally time to speak out on this, to go with your heart, go with your gut, and do what's right, okay? And I know that that's why all of you are here. And by the way, I just want to thank and give them another round of applause, because we've got a lot of business people in this country who are cowards, who maybe deep in their heart know what's right and wouldn't allow something like this to happen out in front of their place of business. So another round of applause to the folks here at McCormick and Smith. Now, a YouTube piece went up on me. I do a radio show every Monday night, and I did a little 15-minute monologue about Ron Paul, and it was considered my defense of Ron Paul. It's up on YouTube now. And I saw some comments that people logged on and made, and they referred to themselves as, help me out here, Ron Paul lunatics or loons or something. What's the word you guys affectionately call each other? No, I know that part. But anyway. Yeah, smart people, statesmen, revolutionaries. But we are that way because we know what Ron Paul stands for. And just look at this platform right here. This is what it's all about. And tonight he hit the nail on the head. He did win the debate when he talked about the fact that the Republican Party has moved away from him. He is in the mainstream of the Republican Party. And I heard a phrase tonight that I haven't heard in a few years about the Big Tent. And it is important that we welcome myself as an elected Republican in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, that we welcome people with the right opinion about where American foreign policy is going, the right opinion about what is sound monetary policy, and bring people back to this party. The issues that attracted people to the Republican Party that we've lost, it's important to welcome them back, and you are part of that coalition, you are part of that group. And I hope that these other candidates who are up on the stage tonight finally realize that. Hopefully at some point Fox News, despite their pro-interventionist foreign policy, pro-warmongering position that they seem to hold, will realize that, because that is key to putting this party on the right track once again. And thank you for being part of that. And by the way, if I may, do I have another minute? Tuesday, I was in the Massachusetts Senate chamber, the oldest legislative chamber in the Western Hemisphere. Very historic place, as you might know. Land that was donated by John Hancock to the people of Massachusetts to build a state house. If you've ever been there, it's a beautiful building. We debated a $4.2 billion bond bill, a lot of pork in it, I might add. And the next day we had a Senate session for Thursday, today canceled. And I got a call from a good friend of mine who's worked in my campaigns. He says, I'm in Florida, I got an extra room, what are you doing? You should come down here, I'm down here the rest of the month. I said, I got the rest of the week off. He said, I'm getting on a flight. So I didn't get my plane tickets until Tuesday night. I get down here Wednesday, and I can't think of a better place to spend my vacation than in the company of freedom-loving Floridians who welcomed me here, and couldn't think of a better place to watch tonight's debate and watch Ron Paul kick some butt. Thanks for having me.